One of the big things that I've been watching this week, we're getting into the holiday season. We're coming up on Avatar, Fire and Ash, which is going to be it's really the only like huge December release this year. I know we recently talked about the fact that we had like the next 2 years we have um
Stuff.
like Marvel and Dune going head to head, and then I don't remember what was going against each other next year, but it's got two.
Starfighter, right?
Starfighter's a May release.
It's a May release.
Star Wars is moving back to May. Yay! Which, yeah, I think that's a big win.
Excuse me.
Moving back to the traditional release date there, so I'm happy about that.
We won. We won.
They finally listened to you.
Yeah,
but we're I mean, honestly, like I am not that into the Avatar stuff, but I'm really excited. We're going to get the Doomsday trailer during Fire and Ash, and I wanted to kind of see what y'all thought about. Right now, the word is they have created with multiple trailer companies over 30 trailers in trying to get this just right, because this is pretty widely being called the most important movie trailer of all time.
Wow.
What I mean, y'all have any thoughts on that? I mean, it is a big one. Like, I mean, we're coming out of an era where Marvel's been sort of hit or miss. We haven't been introduced to this villain in any, when we got to Thanos, we had not done a lot with Thanos, but we knew he was back there pulling the strings, and
we had seen him in a couple of cutscenes.
Yeah. But this is, I mean, they've got to, and they, not just that, they've got to sell us on how Robert Downey Jr. is doing.
I think for me, that's going to be the big test, because when they announced that, and then I've seen all these, leaks and story leaks and all these articles regarding him and being the variant. And now there's a news article that says they're going to introduce, Dr. Doom as several variants, including female variants. All that stuff just doesn't excite me anymore. I think I like it when the less I know, obviously.
Yeah.
And when you just said 30 trailer companies, I freaked out, because I'm like,
30 multiple trailer companies that
Right.
have created 30 plus trailers.
Oh, so I am fearful then. Like, what are they gonna, like, 30 trailers? What?
Well,
why go see the movie?
To drop 30, that they've created 30 in trying to get this just right.
Okay, so basically, maybe they only air.
Oh, they're going to air one of them.
Yeah,
they're going to air one. Come December, we're going to get one of those trailers after they decide which one is the one that conveys what they need to convey.
I'm with you though, Ro. Like, I kind of hope that they keep some things, like,
yeah,
it's gotten to the point where, and Marvel isn't typically as bad about this as some people, but some people, it's like you see the movie and you're like, well, I already saw the trailer.
I already knew that, right?
I've seen.
Or the other thing that kind of messes with me too is like when they announce actors that are going to be in it that are a specific character, you're like, well, now I know this character is going to be in it. So why?
I think the catch with this one is that just because they named the actor doesn't mean you know who they are.
Yes,
we've got
we got a surprise.
With Chris Evans, that he could be showing up as any of like 4 different characters.
But do you guys feel like it's a been there, done that situation? Like, how far can you take this whole alternate reality?
Well, I think this is, they've got to, if they want to continue the MCU, they've got to wrap that up. Mm-hmm. And I think that Doomsday and Secret War is going to be the end of the multiversal stuff. I mean, the big rumor is well, the big rumor, obviously, right now is that following Secret War, that it's a timeline reboot.
Soft reboot, yeah.
The soft reboot. But I mean, that we don't know. Some characters might still be around. Some might not be around at all. Some of them might be played by new actors. The X-Men will obviously likely be included in whatever the new timeline looks like. We're going to get a sort of a slate wipe at the end of Secret War, and
it's time. Like,
Yeah.
You know, like for a little while, it was like, ooh, 18 Loki variants. That's kind of cool, and it was like,
yeah, that's
I'm
why. That's what I mean. It's like been there, done that. I'm like over it.
like, yeah, it's time to like pull everything together, like give us some reason for why we did all of this,
Right?
and like tie it up and like start back in something simple,
Well,
because you can only do, like multiverse and time travel are two of those things that you can only do for a minute before it just gets lame.
Right.
Before it just like it's too much.
Yeah.
And everything just sort of there are no more consequences anymore. That nothing matters anymore.
Right.
Because you can always undo whatever it was.
Just cast Zendaya as everybody.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just it's hard for me to get excited for Doomsday, honestly, just because of as you say, Marvel's been very hit or miss. I feel like they've still been that way. I mean, obviously things have been getting a little better, sure, but like I still feel like that's their track record now, and they. Doctor Doom is such a big villain, and the way they're bringing him in, I don't feel like is completely faithful to the character and everything, and so it's like. I don't know. It's hard for me to get excited. Obviously, I'm still going to watch it there. I've gone to see every Marvel movie, day one or opening weekend or whatever. But, and people are going to go still watch it. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it's one that they need to do well.
Well, I think that the conversation we're having here right now is kind of the proof in the pudding that this is an extraordinarily important trailer. Because they've got us, because everybody's kind of going, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about this anymore. And they've got to convince us all that next December, we're going to be sitting in a theater watching this movie.
Yeah.
Because not only do they need to sell it big, they've got to convince, I mean, at this point, these big tentpole movies are almost having to convince people that haven't gone to the theater in the last 5 years to come back to the theater.
Right.
To make money.
And that's an additional hurdle for them to jump. I mean, Frankenstein had limited theatrical release, and I know some people would have loved to have seen it on the big screen on a wider release because it's such a gorgeous film. To watch it on a small screen or whatever, streaming is kind of it does a disservice to it. But I think, getting people back in the theater is a big hurdle that I don't think is an easy solve anymore, especially now that everybody waits, 3 weeks for it to come home. There's just no reason to go back out. And that's a shame because I'd rather watch a movie in a theater than at home.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree. It's, there are just so many things that go into that issue, that there are just so many factors. And, like, Hollywood, I feel like instead of figuring out a way to make the theaters attractive again, because the thing is they need theaters to make the kind of money that they need to make.
Right.
Like you can't afford to make the likes of, In-Game and send it straight to streaming.
Right.
But I don't know. Like they continue to make decisions though that continue to perpetrate the issue. So
well, that's the thing is we're sort of the way things are changing. We're sort of hurtling towards a post Hollywood entertainment era. And I don't know what that looks like.
Well,
I mean, if first of all, as far as strictly Hollywood made films, that's basically dead. They're not making movies in LA anymore.
They're still not. It's crazy. The number of people, like there's more work in Mississippi right now than there is in LA. At least considering a number of people who work in the industry. There's a larger percentage, I think, of people working in Texas, in New Mexico, in places like Mississippi, Kentucky, than there are in,
And why is that? Somebody that works directly kind of with that. And I know, yeah, obviously all the crews, all the production companies are based in Los Angeles on the West Coast. We have our share of productions that are filmed here in Chicago, and they keep coming back. They set up shop. All the the big NBC shows that have been going on for years with Dick Wolf. We have movies that come here and love it and set up shop, and they continue to do that. What are the benefits of shooting elsewhere rather than staying at home? And I think there's an obvious one. The versatility of location and facilities is one. Tax credits might be another thing, because they're
extraordinary. Yes, tax credits are a big one. And also it's gotten so expensive. Like Film LA continues to put roadblocks in the way of productions. They continue to, you have to get all these permissions through Film LA. You have to pay for all these licenses and all of these. They continue to basically they pretty much taxed the industry to death, not just the government. And it is very expensive. I mean, income taxes are very high there. The cost of living is very high there. So just, housing and feeding crew is much more expensive in a place like LA than in a place like Chicago or, a lot of these other places. And like one of the big things that I continue to see crew talking about is that they've made it so prohibitively expensive. LA just got greedy. They basically were like, oh, well, they have to film here.
Sure.
So we can just charge them through the nose to film in LA, and they'll just continue to do it because it's LA.
Right.
And it's proven not to be the case.
Well, and here we are in 2025, and we've got a absolutely massive soundstage half a mile from our house.
Yeah.
That's cool.
In Natchez, Mississippi, with a population of 15,000 people.
And people are also excited. I think a lot of people in LA are jaded about the movie industry. They don't want movies in their neighborhoods. They don't want filming happening, in their space. They're tired of it.
Sure.
And whereas a lot of places where it's more of a novelty, they very clearly see the correlation between this movie comes to town and we make money.
Sure.
And I think that, so as a result, a lot of people are a lot more excited to see movies coming. I mean, you see background actors who are just super, kind of professional background actors who that's sort of what they do.
Yeah.
They're SAG members, and they kind of have a certain, amount of, they're just a certain amount of jaded. And, they don't have as much of that in places where people are just really excited about movies.
Yeah. And Ubaldo has said it in the chat here. The states other than California are bending over backwards to provide, tax credits and all that stuff to attract production companies to come and spend money in their cities and their states.
Well,
so
the
it
tax
makes
credits,
sense.
the tax credits are a big deal, especially a lot of the movies that they're making right now are, not massive movies. And those tax credits are a really, really big deal for movies that cost less than $15 million to make.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're a big deal for other things too, because so much moved to Georgia. But of course, now it's become cheaper to film overseas for a lot of things, and so a lot of things are still continuing to go overseas.
Sure.
So,
but yeah, so you've got the tax incentives are obviously huge. I mean, I think in Mississippi, as long as you spend like over $50,000 on your film, you can recoup as much as half of your cost.
Yeah.
In tax credits and tax incentives if you're hiring local. The other thing is that, in LA, if you're a famous actor, sure, you can afford to live in LA, but crew and working actors can't afford it anymore.
Yeah.
They have to drive all the way from Pomona.
People that bounce from show to show to show, and just that's what they do every day is play background on a different thing. Is they can't afford it. And then on top of that, states like Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, Alabama are right to work states. So they're drawing a lot of movies that aren't necessarily filming as union gigs.
Boo. Man, I like me some insurance.
Well, you like for the union to pay for the insurance. You just have to do a certain amount of work before they do.
Yeah, I like insurance, period. Even if I have to pay for it, but I especially like it whenever the union pays for it. But that's the other thing is I haven't been on a union show
Since this time last year.
So most of the shows that are coming to these places are, they're non-union shows, and they are paying, they're just paid very, very cheaply.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. You can't get away with that in LA. You can get away with that in places like this.
Sure. Yeah.
I imagine Chicago is probably I imagine Illinois is probably a right to work state too.
No,
So
Chicago. No,
it's not.
No, Chicago is very union heavy.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
it?
It's
No.
the birthplace of the unions.
Right.
But I didn't know if the whole if that was the whole
Yeah,
if
I'm
the
sure
whole
it's the
state
whole
was
state.
okay. Well then, good for y'all.
I love carrying my union card.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and that's another thing. Union dues here are so much less than the same union in LA is. I mean, union dues there are probably 10 times what mine are.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
so that's another thing. It's a lot harder to maintain, it's a lot harder to maintain.
Supply and demand.
Yeah, supply and demand. And, hopefully enough people will get excited about not having to ship all of their productions to Hungary, that there will be a little bit more work here. But there's a lot of things going to Eastern Europe right now.
I tell you what, though, if the quality of some of that stuff, like I think we got a taste of that. And I'm not going to get into it because we talked about it the other night. That Robin Hood show that
AI
MGM just put out, and I still not sure if it was AI or CGI. But it was real bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hopefully it was AI.
Well,
I can't imagine a production.
I'm sure it was AI, but that opens up a whole different side.
It's starting to show up too, and that doesn't make as much difference like for most crew, but it's going to make a lot of difference for post production. It's going to make a lot of difference for VFX and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, even like thinking about like for what you do and in costuming, I mean, don't forget the suits, the time travel suits that the Avengers wear in Infinity War, 100% CGI.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was watching it behind the scenes, and they, even in the Winter Soldier Falcon series, they couldn't get what's his name's collar like straight up, so they had to digitally erase it and then recreate it in CGI so it would stand up.
It's so crazy.
It's crazy stuff. Yeah. Little things like that.
I don't know. It's a brave new world out there. I'm really curious what movies are going to look like in 10 years, because everything's changing so fast. Theaters are changing. With the way we consume, so many people consume their media, on the internet in one form or the other. So I don't know. I would love to know exactly what it's going to do. I feel like the people who are right about the direction it's going to go are probably stand to make a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is everybody's kind of positioning themselves where they think it's going to go.
Yeah.
And some are going to win and some are going to lose.
Yep.
We'll see.
But yes, all that to say, Doomsday, I think people are skeptical enough about Doomsday as this conversation has proven, even though I'm not sure how we got around to where we got. But yes, people are skeptical and they need to sell it because and here's the other thing that they need to do. They need to they need to get Marvel back to a place where you can understand what's happening without having seen every movie they made for the last 20 years. Like that was fun for a minute.
Yeah, that's funny though to me because I enjoy the connectivity of Marvel, the MCU, because I'm a nerd, And I think, and again, I know some people say, well, you don't really have to watch everything. It's a bonus if you get like certain references, but I think each film kind of works on its own for the most part. That could be argued, either way, but I feel like with a franchise like Marvel and to a certain extent, Star Wars, now that it's, reaching half a century, I think it's really difficult to make a standalone film in that universe that doesn't connect one way or the other, where fans are like, oh, it'd be interesting to, now I have to watch Rebels so I can understand Ahsoka a little better. You really
Right.
don't, but it's hard to make that lack of connection where you say, no, you don't have to. I mean, you don't, but it's cool when you do, and it's cool to be able to absorb, like, 90% of the media at least, to kind of get those connections, because it is kind of fun to say, you could be like that DiCaprio meme where he's like pointing to the screen like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with doing homework, and I know a lot of people are like, why do I have to do homework to catch this reference? I mean,
I enjoy it for me, but like we're getting to the point now where a lot of these movies came out before some of my kids were born. Like, it's
Sure.
getting to the point where some of our main consumers may literally not have been alive when these movies started.
I'll
So
say like that Michael Jordan meme, F them kids.
That's Ray's only sports quote, by the way.
That's the beginning and the end. That's the beginning and the end of Rose sports knowledge. Just that much.
Hey there, sci-fi fans. We hope you enjoyed this clip from a previous live stream of the Science Fictionary podcast. We hope you'll go check out other episodes. We hope you'll hit that like and that subscribe button. And please go check out all of our friends over at the Red 5 Network. And as always, may the Force be with you.